Hello and welcome to UEFA Nations League final. Let's analyze the two games we have on Sunday. The third spot, Netherlands, Italy, and the final, Croatia, Spain. Ciao, Dani. Hello.
Ciao, ciao.
Alvaro, remember as always to comment and give us your tips in the comment section. And of course, don't forget, press the like and subscribe. And now let's go on with the show. Well, on Sunday, 3 p.m. Dutch time, we have Netherlands, Italy. I don't understand these kind of games because they are playing absolutely for nothing, but it's important for the pride and two teams that arrive to this game with need to win, Dani, because Italy played another bad game, in my opinion, against Spain with some individual mistakes, with some collective mistakes. They are arriving, remember, of course, after not qualifying for the World Cup, after losing against England and Netherlands. They haven't started well with Koeman on the bench.
Italy did very little against Spain, only 3 shots on target, but they left you with the sensation that they didn't have a style of play. They didn't have a real plan, and they were only throwing long balls, against the Spain side that with all the problems that Spain might have, is still a very technical side. They can control the ball and they can kind of hide the ball from you. If your shortest pass is 20 meters long and Spain plays passes at 2 meters, then obviously you are in trouble. And Italy were always trying to chip the ball over the Spain defense. Sometimes it worked, but in the second half, they ended up basically defending their own box, had only one chance with Frattesi. I didn't understand the changes from Mancini in the second half, taking Frattesi off, for example. And the same Mancini admitted he maybe chosen the wrong system, this 3-5-2. Well, he chose the system. That's already the third time in a row that we play with 3-5-2. And it seems to me a little bit too reactive, really, especially if the wing backs don't push a lot. And the two up front, Zaniolo and Immobile, I don't think they're made one for the other. Only 37% possession for Italy against Spain. They did deserve to lose. It's the fourth time in 5 games that Italy concede goals, 4 defeats in a year. And yes, on Sunday, it might be the last game for a few players in Italy shirt. For sure, it might be the last game for Bonucci, who, by the way, I think he made a mistake in the goal, but I think the mistake is also from Donnarumma, the way he gives in the ball, very close to Gavi. But yes, Bonucci made a mistake, and I don't understand why he started the game after such a poor season against Juventus. Verratti, Donnarumma, Holland, but performances. So it doesn't look good for Italy, to be fair, but obviously, yes, in September, the qualifiers, Ukraine, North Macedonia, these are the games they need to win. Netherlands, on the other hand, we thought with Alvaro that they were going to struggle against Croatia. Croatia are more experienced. They are a better side at managing the key moments in the game. Netherlands took the lead, but then you could tell that the inexperienced crept in. But, what I like about the Netherlands is that they have an epic about themselves. They never give up. Look at the game, for example, against Argentina in the World Cup. They are able to find goals and late chances and convert them really at the end. It is a very unbalanced team still, but they have tough things about them. Obviously, it's all about maturation. Defense is a problem for the Netherlands. Van Dijk looks very tired. I think he's a fault for the goal of 𝐿𝐭𝐿𝐿. They conceded 4 against France, 4 against Argentina, of course. 2 against Argentina. Against the top teams, they only kept 1 clean sheet in a year and a half, and that's when they won 1-0 against Belgium in the Nations League. So it is an issue there, but they play at home. Is the last game of the season for them and for all the players. I think Italy are going to rotate 8-9 changes, maybe Netherlands a little bit less. They're going to finish with a win. I'm going to go for an over 2.5 goals here, 189, last game of the season. Why not go for it? Over 2.5 goals, 189.
It's the first time Holland conceded 4 goals at home in home soil, playing an official game. Alvaro, I guess you didn't like both teams in the semifinals.
Well, no, not really, but I don't know how much did I dislike them. I think I dislike Italy more than the Netherlands, to be honest. I didn't like Italy at all against Spain. I think that in the first half they had a one route to goal plan that worked for them, in my opinion, which was sending balls between Laporte and Lenormand. It's been a long time issue for Spain. They don't know how to defend these balls, and I think that Italy attacked that very well. But then in the second half, they just couldn't cope with Spain's. I'm not going to talk about physicality. I think that it's about the quality of the players. I mean, Spain, with all their issues, they still have more technique than Italy. And in the second half, Italy didn't do much, even though there was a great chance for Fratesi that Unai Simon saved quite instinctively. But this game, I think that is more important for the Netherlands than for Italy. I think that there is even more pressure on Koeman because, for Italy to finish fourth in the Nations League, it doesn't really matter. But for Ronald Koeman to lose 2 games in a row in home soil doesn't look good, especially because he just took over from Louis van Gaal. So Koeman needs the win. And I want to see how the Netherlands steps up for this game, because I didn't like the passivity of some of their players, especially in the long possessions of Croatia. I know that Croatia, when they have the ball, it's very difficult to take it from them. But for example, the goal from Pasalic, in my opinion, demanded more tightness from the Dutch defense, especially Virgil van Dijk. He's becoming a specialist on blaming someone else for the goals that his sides concede. And I think that Virgil van Dijk has been too many times in the picture of the goal lately. So, hopefully he will improve that ahead of the next season and maybe for this game as well. But, this game is difficult to call. I think that Italy will do many changes, as Daniele says. Let's see if Bonucci plays. In my opinion, the most puzzling thing about Bonucci losing that ball, the pass wasn't good by Donnarumma, by the way. It was a bad decision. But the most puzzling thing for me, it wasn't that Bonucci lost it in the first place, that he didn't tackle it well in the second time.
Yep.
Because I think that that's the most important thing, and a defender has to impose himself physically in the second duel that Bonucci went for, not the first one, especially the second one. And he didn't do it, and that didn't look good to me. But yeah, I think that this game is going to be quite vertical. I think that the Dutch are going to attack. They need a win more than anyone else. And they are a little bit devoid of talent in midfield. Apart from Frenkie de Jong, I don't think that they got good passers and people with plenty of technique. But however, they've got, good strikers, and especially midfielders who can score. So I'm going to go for the biggest money could be in Netherlands to win. That pays 236, and it's good money. But if you want to limit a little bit the element of risk, you can go for something like Asian handicaps minus 0.25 or plus 0.25 for the Netherlands. Maybe the plus one is like a safe bet. Asian handicap plus 0.25 for the Netherlands, 152. If they draw, you win half your stake. If they win, you win it. But my favorite one here would be over 2.5 goals in this game, 185. I think that there will be goals here because there is pressure for Koeman, yes, but on the other hand, there is a willingness to put a good performance by the Dutch, and I'm sure that Italy can score a goal somewhere. So over 2.5 goals, 185.
You both agree. Then going for the over, as you mentioned, the over pays 1.8, the under 2.08. So the bookies expect an over. And the Netherlands, they are favorites, not overwhelmingly favorites, but 2.3 for the Dutch to win, 3.3 for Italy to win this third place final. And then later on, we have the big final, Croatia, Spain, and here I'm surprised to see Spain this favorite, 2.09. Always the bookies look down to Croatia. I don't see Spain that favorite. I didn't like some spells in Spain's game, Alvaro, especially the way they pressure. I think they were not coordinating themselves when they pressure, and they left a lot of spaces on the back, but they do have a plan B, something that Luis Enrique didn't have. A lot of people demanded him to put Joselu or someone like him in the list in the World Cup, and Joselu, every time he jumps off the bench, he scored a goal.
He has done it so far. He has scored 3 goals with Luis de la Fuente since March onwards, and he scored 2 goals against Norway. He didn't start that game, and yet he scored the brace. And he scored against Italy in the Nations League semi-final. The truth is that, this game is difficult to call. I think that Croatia has been looked down, and I think that we will be aware of the magnitude of the Croatian achievement when all this group of players finally go away and retire from international football. One thing that I show with pleasure is the fact that this Croatia 2023 is not worse than Croatia 2022, and if there is any sign of decline, I don't see it yet. So that's very good, because European football can feel proud of having a side like Croatia. We talk about the Uruguayan miracle. I mean, a 2 million inhabitant country playing World Cups year after year. Well, same thing can be applied to Croatia as well. And for Croatia to be here, they have had to beat really good sides, because in the group stage of the Nations League, they played against Denmark, against France, against Austria, and they only lost against Austria the first game. But then they negotiate that group easily with France, winning or beating France in French soil, and then they have beaten the Netherlands. So they are here because they are a very good side, and the odds are disproportionate, in my opinion. That said, it's very difficult to call the games between Spain and Croatia, because both sides have the ball or tend to have it, and then the possession football that Spain and Croatia impose to the other side normally, they can only impose it very well to each other in this kind of game. They are tactically not very similar. They are less similar than they were a year ago, but still they feed themselves from the same principles. And the games between Spain and Croatia lately, they have been difficult to call, because look, in 2018, it was a 5-3. Then in 2018, it was a 6-0 for Spain. Then the next game, it was 3-2, and the next one 5-3. So the games between Spain and Croatia are very difficult to call. And I think that who has the possession will dictate the game. I think that this Croatia side is capable of having long spells of possession against Spain. And the balls to Kramaric will definitely be dangerous. So Jesus Navas and Lenormand will have to be very worried of those balls to the left, because Kramaric
I like the Lenormand, despite the penalty.
Yeah, me too.
I like him.
Yeah, me too. And in the penalty, you cannot blame him a lot, but they will have to pay attention, obviously, to Kramaric, because he was very good the other day. When it comes to Spain, you know, I think Morata will play up front. Let's see who plays in midfield. Merino was okay, but I think that in the second half, Fabian Ruiz was better than Merino when he came in. And, you know, this is a difficult game to call, actually. So I'm going to go for, look, there are a few odds that are interesting, though. Croatia to score over 0.5 goals. So basically, Croatia to score one goal or more, pays 1.5. The other day, I went for that, and it happened. They scored 4, in fact. I like both teams to score 187. This is probably my favorite one. And in the second half, if you go for over 1.5 goals, as it happened, for example, with the Netherlands the other day, as it happened, with Spain the other day in the first half, actually. Well, anyway, over 1.5 goals in the second half will be interesting, because the money is good, 217, but I'm more than happy to stay in both teams to score 187. Simple as that. And if you go to the individual markets, since the man of the moment in Spain is Joselu to score, you should know that is 2.6. Does Alvaro Romeo back that? Not at all.
Rodrigo Moreno, I didn't like him, nor Jordi Alba as well, almost retired from football and still playing. And Dani, you always say that Croatia is the master of tight margins. Another extra time that they won. Actually, the last extra time that they lost was against Spain in the Euros.
5-3.
Yeah, and they won the extra time against Brazil, and then the World Cup against Japan. Yes, they are the masters of the tight margin. They are ever so comfortable on a draw situation. And I think what is interesting about Croatia is that the longer the game goes, the better physically they become. I mean, I was surprised to see Brozovic running so much after playing the Champions League final. Modric, after the minute 70, he became almost another player. He started to play very well. It's because they manage the ball well. They know how to manage themselves during the games. And look, and I think Croatia and Spain at the moment, if the battle is in midfield, probably Croatia might have a little bit of an advantage. They have as good as midfield of Spain, or perhaps even better technically. They're looking for the first major trophy, Croatia. So this is a very important game for them. They never won anything in their relatively short history. And since Euros 2021, since that defeat to Spain, they only lost 2 games, 3-0 to Argentina and 3-0 to Austria in the Nations League. So it's a team that really has done really well. Probably no other team in Europe has had such a very good streak recently.
Let me tell you something. I think that if you take the numbers, forget the titles, obviously, go to the day-to-day, the list of wins, losses, and defeats, losses and draws. I think Croatia is the best European side. And not only that, for example, I remember that Chile was one of the best American sides from 2010 until 2020. They were benefited by the fact that they played loads of international tournaments in America because they had the Copa America Centenario, Copa America every 2 years. Had Croatia had that advantage of playing international tournaments summer after summer, they would have won that. I really hope that they get a trophy finally, that's justice to them. Because normally you don't win a trophy, you don't stay in posterity. But this Croatia side has been excellent. One of the most remarkable sides in Europe in the last 5 years, for sure. 100%.
Or before, or since the World Cup 2018, finalist of 2018.
Exactly, 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. The things that really impress me with Croatia is that their strikers domestically, they don't score much, but when they come with the national team, they score a lot. Look, Kramaric this season has scored 12 goals with Hoffenheim, which is okay in the Bundesliga, but he scored 9 goals for Croatia between 2022 and 2023. So obviously, he averaged many more goals per game with Croatia. Petkovic, 14 goals with Dinamo Zagreb, which I think is a low tally for a team that is dominating in Croatia. Scored against Brazil at the World Cup. Scored, of course, against the Netherlands. So I think Croatia are going to be comfortable. Spain, on the other hand, I think they did the job on Italy. They changed more than half the team that played against Scotland. Got a good result. I think congratulations to De La Fuente for the good changes, especially Asensio impacted the game. The defense, I think the problem with Spain is that I don't think they're really still conscious about the limits. And the limit is that they got a very shaky defense. And I think they got not a great center-back partners also when they got the ball. And yet they play a very high line. And Italy could exploit that. Now, Croatia could as well exploit that because they got very good passers of the ball. Spain conceded 4 in 4 of the last 6 games. The question mark here is, this is the last game of the season. Some of these players might be tired. Croatia went to the extra time 3 days before, so you need to consider that as well. But again, there is a big drive for Croatia to win the first major trophy. I like the Croatia Asian handicap plus 0.25 in the first half, 182. That means if they win the first half, you win. If they draw, you win half a stake. But I also like the both to score 190, being a final of a major trophy, but a trophy that after all, it's not the World Cup final. I mean, let's put it clearly, neither the Euro final. I think they're both gonna go for it, and they're gonna be chances. Both to score 190.
Yeah, but they both celebrated the victory in the semifinals greatly, so they do care about this trophy.
I think so, and I think that getting the score right is almost impossible here because Croatia and Spain, they dominate the games, and when they play against other kinds of opponents, you know that they will have the ball, you know that the games are going to be decided possibly in tight margins, like in the game against the Netherlands, like the game against Italy. But when they play against each other, strangely, it is chaos what defines those games. 5-3, 3-2, 6-0 in the last 5 years. I remember in the 5-3 in the Euro 2021, Spain was winning 3-1 by the 75th minute.
Yes.
And then 85th. Croatia scored 2 goals. They sent the game to the extra time, and in the extra time, Spain scored 2 goals very easily. So these games are really weird between Spain and Croatia. Really looking for some good value in the full-time result has a big element of risk, a bigger one than when Croatia plays against any other good European side, let's say England or Italy or whoever, or Serbia.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you both agree with both teams to score. The draw, you remember, at 90 minutes. So if it goes to extra time, it pays 3.8, something that happens a lot with Croatia on the pitch. Praise to Modric, of course. Praise to Livakovic as well, who was great in that game. Nice to see as young as ever, to Luka Modric. Well, guys, tell me, Dani, your best bet for this game? Or for
me, the value-
2 games?
For me, the value is on Netherlands not to lose. So I'm going to go Netherlands draw no bet against Italy 172.
Already pessimistic with your Italy, Dani.
I think we got very little chances to win.
And Alvaro?
No, it's a very safe one, actually. It will be Netherlands-Italy over 1 goal in the second half, 134.
And you put together an ACCA, Alvaro?
Yes, I did. It will be Netherlands-Italy over 2.5 goals, and Croatia-Spain, both teams to score. That pays in the region of 3.20.
Okay, and Dani, Fisichella?
3 selections, Netherlands, Italy, both to score. Croatia, Spain, 1x in the first half, and Croatia, Spain over 1.5 goals overall. Total odds 340.
Okay, this is our penultimate video this season because we still have Euro qualifiers on Monday, still some football to be watched, and Dani and Alvaro will take a look at this to give you the best odds and tips. Thank you, guys. Remember, as always, press the like, subscribe. Bye-bye.
Ciao!